Greetings, good people. Welcome back to the channel. All right, it is day number 8 of the Tim Norman trial. And as of right now, 7:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the jury has not reached a verdict. They are still deliberating, okay? So what I want to do in this video is go back and recap day 7 closing arguments and touch on a little bit of what's going on today with the jury. Okay, seems that the jury is having some doubts about certain things, and this is what is prolonging the verdict from being reached. All right, so let's go back to day 7. So, Assistant U.S. Attorney Angie Danis said in her closing argument for the prosecution that Norman initiated the plot to take out his nephew in hopes of a payout. So she said, quote, "Not only did he know, he was the architect of this plan. This plan doesn't exist but for Tim Norman's greed," end quote. So Norman's defense attorney, Michael Leonard, responded that the plot presented by prosecutors was a quote unquote made up theory. Leonard said that this picture from the picture that everyone painted in this case was that Tim was a man of character. Okay. So you guys know that Tim Norman is accused of orchestrating a plot to take out his nephew, right? He took out a life insurance policy on him 18 months prior to Andre's life being taken. And after Andre's life was taken, Tim attempted to cash out up to $450,000 in this fraudulent life insurance policy. Okay. So Tim is facing, just to kind of, recap, he's facing 2 federal murder for hire counts and 1 count of conspiracy to commit wire and mail fraud. Okay. So back to the closing arguments. Now, the prosecutor argued that the day of the incident, Norman paid $10,000 to an exotic dancer who was Terica Ellis to track Andre's location. They accused Norman of then using a friend to pay $5,000 to Travell Anthony Hill, who's the one who actually took Andre out, right? Both Ellis and Hill, they testified for the prosecution. So Danis, she said the defendant saw his opportunity to cash in and he tried. He had his own nephew executed. This is part of the closing argument. So Norman, he made the rare decision to take the stand. I did do a video on that, touching on that. Be sure to check that out if you haven't done so already, right? And he did this on Tuesday. That was day 6 of the trial. So when he got on the stand, he told the jury that he asked Travell and Terica to find and confront Andre about a recent burglary at Miss Robbie's home. Miss Robbie is Tim's mother. And he said that he never paid them or asked them to hurt his nephew. This is what Tim's saying on the stand. He also testified that about 18 months before Andre's life was taken, he brought Andre to St. Louis, paid his rent, and enrolled him in music school. He said he then cut him off financially after Andre stopped going to work in school. Now, the defense called former Sweetie Pie's employees and other character witnesses who said that, Norman and Andre were close. So Tim's attorney questioned the credibility of the testimony from, Terica Ellis and Travell Hill, right? This is what defense attorneys are supposed to do. And Tim's lawyer basically is saying that Terica felt compelled to testify to get a shorter sentence. So this is what Tim Norman's attorney said, quote, "In making life's most important decisions, would you make that based upon a stripper who said she looked in your face and lied to you?" This is what Tim's attorney is asking. He also emphasized that Travell Hill, who prosecutors call Tim Norman's quote unquote hired gun, said, "Nobody else should be responsible for my actions but me. I looked up to Tim as a mentor." This is what Travell Hill said on the stand about Tim when he testified. Hill also testified that he was the one who bought a gun and took out Andre after he was told by a mutual acquaintance that Norman would pay to have his nephew taken out. Hill said that he was paid $5,000 after he took out Andre by another man, Daryl Howard, who testified that he made the payment at Norman's direction. So Daryl Howard is Tim's friend, and he said that Tim told him to pay Travell. So he went to the hotel, got the money as he was instructed to do. This is what he said on the stand. And he took a picture of the money and he went to pay Travell. Okay, so Travell testified that Tim wasn't the one to tell him directly to take out his nephew. He said Daryl Howard was the one that relayed the message, and Daryl Howard was also the one that paid him after he took Andre out. Moving along, Tim's attorney emphasized that Travell Hill testified that, he was a heavy drug user at the time, and he was hopped up, quote unquote, on drugs that day. So Tim's attorney is saying, that's the level of credibility of their star witness. So again, creating doubt in the jury. Can you take someone as credible who admitted to being hopped up on drugs all day? Anyway, in her rebuttal, prosecutor Dennis told jurors not to trust Tim Norman's testimony. She said the defendant sat up there for 4 hours and spun tales because that's what he does. There's about 45 reasons why you can't trust a word this man says. Now, remember, Dennis is for the prosecution. Dennis also emphasized that all the testimony from alleged co-conspirators was backed up in trial by text messages, call records, and location data. So Dennis said that, Tim scripted a show to portray an image of wealth and success that wasn't real. He also created an image of being a mentor and a father figure to all these people, but it's fiction. Now, the jury, they began their deliberation before noon on Wednesday, okay? In the mid-afternoon, jurors, they asked the judge for all of the text in evidence, flight records, and a life insurance application, among other things. So they deliberated for nearly 6 hours without reaching a verdict. That was on day 7. Fast forward to today, day 8. At this time, jury's still in deliberation. And I think what the defense has done is create doubt in the minds of the jurors. And it seems like the jury is confused based on what it is that they're asking, the information that they're asking or requesting from the judge. I mean, that's what a good defense attorney does, right? Is create doubt in the jury, right? The defense asked for a mistrial several times, and they were denied each time they asked. Okay, so Chronicle Speaks is a YouTube content creator, and she is in St. Louis, and she is in the courthouse. Okay, and she has been providing updates on her community wall on her YouTube page. So as far as what's happening, 7 hours ago, I'm reading this right from her community wall. 7 hours ago, she posted on her community wall that the jury asked for prepaid phone records for all. They emphasized Terica Ellis and Travell Hill. The prosecution is currently getting items together to send to them. That was 7 hours ago. 6 hours ago, Chronicle Speak posted 4th note sent from jury. So they want the cell phone tower evidence and cell phone evidence from the special agents that testified for the prosecution. Now, the judge advised that this evidence is demonstrative and can't be given to the jury. So objects, pictures, models, or displays that need further explanation to go along with them. So the judge basically advised them to go off of their own recollection. All right. Still reading the community wall of Chronicle Speaks. 6 hours ago, she posted 5th note. May we have all of Tim Norman's phone records? An IT person is going to hook up to the TV in the jury room so they can see these documents. The phone documents consist of over 7,000 pages, so they are narrowing down the time in which they like to view. So it seems like everybody in the deliberation room, the jurors, they're not on one accord. So some have doubt, obviously. That's why it's taking this long. 6 hours ago, 6th jury note, all evidence submitted during Daryl Howard's testimony. They want text messages. They want photos of Travell, photos of the money. Because remember, Darrell, whatever his name is, Tim's friend, took the money to Travell, paid Travell, and took a picture of the money that he retrieved under Tim's instruction, right? So they want all of this information. Now, the jury was allowed to take notes. it was being reported that they had like notebooks that they had to leave, obviously, in the courthouse when they went home. So I'm wondering, like, are they confused? Were they paying attention? Did they not care? I don't know. I just think it's there's a lot of back and forth, I can tell. Anyway, this was 2 hours ago. Jury note 7. There was no mention of Darrell Howard's cooperation agreement with the government. Why? The judge stated that he can't advise on that. This is what the jurors are asking now. They would need to go off of their own reflection of Darrell Howard's statement. So he then asked the prosecution and defense if they were in agreement with his response. Tim's attorney said that he would like the government to answer the jury's question as to why. Prosecution advised that there was no such agreement with Darrell, meaning Tim's friend didn't cut a deal with the prosecution to testify. The judges stated that he will continue to send a note to the jury saying they needed to go off of their own recollection of Darrell's testimony. Tim's attorney requested a mistrial. Judge Ross let him know his request is denied. Oh my God. So this was as of an hour ago. This is the last update, jury note number 8. We would like to know the difference between conspiracy to commit murder for hire, Lord, and the crime of murder for hire. The judge advised that they would be guided by the instructions of law given to them in their jury instructions. So it's like, you don't know the difference, but you know what? I can respect them wanting to be sure, wanting to be absolutely sure of what they're doing. So it seems that everybody is not on one accord, which is not uncommon when a jury is deliberating. So we are on verdict watch, basically. Honestly, I don't think they'll reach a verdict tonight. I'd be surprised if they do. The judge did say that he wanted this wrapped up by Friday. So tomorrow is Friday. So hopefully we will get a verdict tomorrow. This is interesting. I'm just paying attention to all of the things that the jury is asking for. It doesn't mean that they're dumb. You know, everybody doesn't have a in-depth understanding of legalese, and I understand that. But I can definitely understand them wanting to just, I guess, try to get it right. But Judge Ross seems like he's over it and he's ready for this to be over. Well, better safe than sorry. So, I mean, at this point, take all the time that you need, right? What's the worst that could happen? You know, you want to make sure all your I's are dotted and your T's are crossed. I do know that Tim's lawyers are looking to file an appeal if he is found guilty. I'm gonna reserve my opinion as far as what I think might or might not happen. I'll just wait till all of this is over and then give my unfiltered opinion. I just try to stick to what is being reported, and that's it. All right, that's all I got. I'm signing off. Ain't got no more. I love you for listening. And as always, until next time, folks, peace.